The last JBL product I reviewed was the Quantum 100p, which is JBL's entry-level wired headset. It's not a bad option if you want something simple and inexpensive, although I thought the build quality was underwhelming. Now, the 360p might simply look like a wireless version of that, and while it does share a few things in common, it's ultimately a very different headset. So this is JBL's new entry-level wireless headset, and what makes this one interesting is that it has Bluetooth as well as 2.4G. Not something you normally get in a headset that's compatible with consoles at this price point, and it's not the only feature that makes it compelling. It's not without flaws, but overall it makes a bit of a statement, and I think the budget wireless headset space is about to get really interesting. As I just mentioned, it has both Bluetooth 5.2 and 2.4G wireless connections. It does support dual connectivity, although it doesn't allow you to listen to two different audio sources simultaneously. So, while you can have it connected to your phone via Bluetooth and your Switch via the dongle at the same time, you'll need to manually toggle between sources. This can be quickly done by pressing up on the power button. Battery life is a respectable 22 hours when using it with the dongle and up to 26 hours via Bluetooth. It'll take 2 hours to charge from flat to full, and it can be charged while using. If you do run it flat, it has a rapid charge feature that gives you an hour of playback off a 5-minute charge. Running both Bluetooth and 2.4G simultaneously will obviously drain the battery faster. I don't have any official numbers, but in my testing it seemed to be about 16 hours of playback with both on. The headset will automatically power off after 30 minutes of no activity, and you can extend this timeout using the software. The 360p is compatible with PS4, PS5, PC, Mac, and the Switch in docked mode. On the Switch, you can also pair it using Bluetooth. This will be laggier than using the dongle, but at least you can use it with the Switch while on the go. It's worth noting that it doesn't have a 3.5mm audio cable, so this is a wireless-only device. Now, if you're on Xbox, you'll want to get the 360X variant, because this works wirelessly with Xbox as well. Both the 360p and the 360X have the same recommended retail price, and outside of Xbox compatibility, they have the same features, although the 360X comes with 1 month of Game Pass. Truth be told, I don't really understand why there's a need for the two different models, but hey, if you're on PlayStation, you get the option of a black and green color if you don't dig the white. Coming in at 252 grams, the 360p is incredibly light, and as a result, they're pretty comfy. You get a standard extendable headband as well as ear cups that rotate 180 degrees. The 360p is almost identical in appearance to the 100p, except that it has a gloss finish, whereas the 100p is more of a matte. I think I prefer the matte simply because the gloss is a cat fur magnet. The ear cups are made out of a synthetic leather. They aren't as nice or as comfy as the ear cups on some of JBL's other headsets, like the 610 and upward, but they do breathe better. So if heat is a concern, these actually have the upper hand on the more expensive models. The ear cups are on the smaller size, with the inner dimensions measuring 5.5cm high, 4.5cm wide, and 2.5cm deep. Not an issue for my average size ears, but Dumbo, you have been warned. On the left ear cup, you have the chatmix and master volume dials, as well as the mic mute button, the USB-C connection, and the connection point for the mic. On the right ear cup, you have the on-off switch, which also doubles as the Bluetooth on-off, and it's used for answering calls. This switch operates in the same way as other headsets in the JBL range that have Bluetooth. The controls are intuitive for the most part, but I would have preferred if the two dials had been split across both ear cups. Half the time my fingers find the wrong dial, which isn't the end of the world, it's just not ideal. Chatmix isn't something you often get on headsets compatible with PlayStation. Usually you get a side tone dial, which isn't really a feature you need to constantly adjust on the fly. I don't know what kind of witchcraft JBL is using here to be able to include this feature, seeing as Sony usually reserves it for their own products, but it's a welcome feature all the same. Now, my biggest complaint with the 360p is the build quality, which is the same problem I have with the 100p. It just looks and feels a bit cheap. It's incredibly light, but the trade-off seems to have been sturdiness. Now, in saying that, I've had no issues with it during my testing, and it stands up to the old stretch test. I just wonder how well it will last in the hands of someone less careful than me. Despite not having the big 50mm drivers that its larger siblings have, the 360p still delivers a big sound. That's partially due to the bass-heavy signature, but for an entry-level and closed-back wireless headset, it also has impressive soundstage and detail. Sure, it doesn't compete with the more expensive models, especially when talking about imaging, but for a wireless solution that's well below $200 Australian or $150 US, it punches well above its weight division. This is especially true if you like a warm sound with a low end that will make you sit up straight. Like the rest of JBL's range, I like them equally for music. I listen to a lot of electronic and metal, but for testing, I also have a playlist of game and movie soundtracks. The 360p is definitely more suited to the electronic stuff, but critically, it handles orchestral scores well. Hans Zimmer scores usually push audio equipment to its limit, and I was surprised how well it coped, with no clipping or blown out bass. Now, of course, if you want something to truly enjoy Zimmer, you're going to need to spend more or look into a dedicated headphone or IEM, but at this price, you can colour me impressed. For this reason, I think they're a good choice as an all-purpose headset. If you want something for gaming, music, movies, and Zoom calls, it'll do the lot. Like with JBL's other wireless headsets, you can pair this with the Quantum Engine software and play with your levels. You can pick from any of the standard presets, or you can go bananas and make your own. EQ levels and other settings will save to the headset, so you can use them with a console or a Bluetooth device. The software is still PC only, although there is a Mac client that lets you update the firmware. As usual, if you want to take advantage of the Quantum Surround Sound, which is JBL's virtual surround sound solution, you'll need to use the software. And yes, the 360p is compatible with other virtual surround sound solutions like Sony's 3D Audio and Windows Sonic Surround Sound. The microphone is your standard bendy boom arm. It's easy to position and it's removable if you don't need it. The mic quality, which you're listening to now, isn't anything special, but it's perfectly serviceable. And I believe this is the same mic you'll find on the 100p. As usual, I've recorded this without any of the post-processing I normally do for my voiceovers. This is the raw audio exactly like your friends are going to hear it over party chat. It also comes with a fuzzy hat to help cut out plosives. You do get side tone, which can be adjusted via the software, but for some reason it's set to off by default. So again, you're going to need a PC to get access to all of the features. I'm pretty impressed with the JBL Quantum 360p. It sounds great for both gaming and music, it's light, it's comfy, and Bluetooth is a very welcome feature at this price point. The only thing that lets it down is the uninspired build quality. Still, it's hard to argue with the rest of the features and the sound quality. If you've been longing for a wireless headset with Bluetooth connectivity, but don't want to drop $250 and upwards on a headset, then you now have a legitimate budget option.